My presentation is on Ebenezers, and I don't know how many of you have heard of Ebenezers. And I would ask, do you have any Ebenezers in your family? To understand that, we want to talk for just a minute about the story of Joshua crossing the River Jordan. You might remember that Joshua chose one man from each tribe to carry the Ark of the Covenant. And as the men carrying the ark, all of them put their feet into the waters parted. And the children of Israel were able to cross on dry ground. They had the ark stop in the middle, and then the people walked by the ark. The Lord instructed him to have the people around the ark, one man from each tribe, get a stone and to carry it to the other side. And the Lord said that in the town that they stopped in, that they were to build a monument from each one of those 12 stones. So the Lord wants us to remember. He wants us to remember his son. He wants us to remember his help to us and also his love for us. Another story is about Joshua. Joshua had been speaking to the children of Israel and talking to them, and Joshua said, when your children ask their fathers in the time to come, what mean these stones? Then let your children know and say, Israel came over this Jordan on dry land. And I think that that is talking about the fact of looking back, of sharing, of knowing that the Lord has blessed us in our lives, and then talking about it. The story of Joshua is followed by the story of Samuel and the Philistines. This takes place in 1 Samuel, and he told them to return to the Lord and put away their false gods. And he said, then the Lord will deliver us out of the hands of the Philistines. So the children of Israel said to Samuel, cease not to cry unto the Lord, because they could see that the Philistines were coming. And Samuel offered up a burnt offering and his prayers. And the Lord sent thunderings with the great thunder that day on the Philistines, and discomforted them. I imagine that if he discomforted them, he did more than just have the thunder. It might have been lightning and other things that they were smote before Israel. Samuel then took a stone and set it between Mizpah and Shem. And he called the name Ebenezer, saying, hitherto hath the Lord helped us. So Samuel raised up a stone, and you've all heard that as far as Ebenezer. Ebenezer in Hebrew stands for a stone of help. Come thou fond of every blessing refers to here I raise my Ebenezer. Remembering is important for all of us. President Kimball said that remember is the most important word in the English language in the dictionary. Remembering is one reason. Family history is important. Families' stories are important. They need to be told and to be retold. There were 2 Old Testament podcasts this last year that discussed this very well, and we're going to post them for you in the family website. We invite you to read them. We have a great family heritage. There are many stories that tell of the Lord's help to our ancestors. Part of who we are is because of who they were, and recognizing that. Remembering the miracle of the Dublin passing on March 13th. Our children and grandchildren will ask, what's so special about March 13th? And we can raise an Ebenezer. We can tell them what the Lord did for our ancestors. Remembering that Bowen was put before a firing squad. And here we can raise an Ebenezer and tell them of the Lord's deliverance. Remembering that we can petition the Lord and that he will hear us. And then here we can raise an Ebenezer also. These are some shots off of the internet that other people have talked about in other Christian groups, and of doing that. Here on the right-hand side, you can see that this person had that engraved on a rock, that wanting to remember somewhere where the Lord had helped him. Now, there are some ideas of things that we can do to help our children and our grandchildren and our own selves remember. One of them is taking rocks from sometimes you can buy them at a rock store. You can go down to a river and get smooth rocks and a Sharpie and write a date on it that has something to do with a significant event in your family that you want to remember when the Lord helped you. There are people who have taken stones and engraved them. This person, I got this off the internet. Something happened very special in his life on September 1st that the Lord helped him in some way, and he wanted to remember that. A comment from someone on the podcast about the goodness of the Lord's life, and it was by Mindy Hoke. She said, "We have a calendar that's a record of our family blessings. The calendar doesn't have a year, just the days of the month, and we write the blessings that our family has received. Things like baptismal dates, the date my husband left on his mission, the day my father-in-law found the gospel, even things like when my 3-year-old fell out of a 2-story window and was fine. My kids add little things that were important to them too. It's really cute. We check the calendar all the time and remember past blessings that happened this week or day. It's fun. My kids think of it as our family record." So I just put a little sample up here. This is something you can make yourself. You can write it on a piece of paper. You can make it on the computer. But just rather than making it a calendar, you write down what happened on that day. And then the family can check that, and it causes them to remember. And they may ask, and then you have an opportunity to raise your Ebenezer. Raising an Ebenezer. What is meant by these stones? What is so important about that date? In our family, in 1985, our son was 9 years old and he had cancer. We'd done everything we could, and the doctor told us that he had a 20% chance of making it, but that would be the only hope, was for him to have a bone marrow transplant. He came home from the hospital on January 22nd, 1985. He's with us here today. That's one of our Ebenezers. Of course, we all remember and should remember the Dublin Passover. That's tomorrow. I hope that all of you will have a dinner, maybe some tacos or some Mexican food. People are saying, "Why are you eating Mexican food today?" It's because you can raise your Ebenezer. And you can write dates on rocks. You can do what will allow you to have someone else ask, what is the story behind that? And then you have an opportunity of raising an Ebenezer. As Samuel said, he took a stone and named it. And thus far, the Lord has helped us. So I'm hoping that each of us can remember the great heritage that we have in Anson Call, and Cyril Call all have stories that are faith promoting, and we have stories. And I hope that with your grandchildren and other people in your family, you'll get them to do something that will help them remember how the Lord has helped them in their lives and answered their prayers, and that will be their Ebenezer.